Hello and welcome to next session on SAP RAP Unmanaged Scenario Series. So last video we have already seen our update operations guys, and in today's session we will be looking into the delete operation. Now the sequence of method that will be called will be pretty much similar to what we have seen in our create and update. So I don't want to again go through all those things here. Important thing is that from the uh, entity behavior pool, a delete method will be called. Okay. And then after that, a save sequence will be called in our scenario. Of course, we are not going and implementing all the logs and everything so far. So this sequence of methods that will be called would be delete method first and then the whole save sequence. Okay. So we will actually also try to implement this delete operation today. Now, how we are going to see again the same thing, delete operation, where we will be again using some auxiliary class to delete the contact, and the final auxiliary, the final save sequence will be called. Okay. With that, let us now get into the system and start implementing our delete operation as well. Okay. So let me go to our Eclipse and show you this method. Okay. So let me also show you now the delete method and F2 for it. And if you can see, it has got keys that is coming in. So now it is not giving us ls entities, it is giving us keys. Okay. And remember this point, that for create and update operation, we will get the entity instances in our entities, but during the delete operation, we will only get the uh, as a table for delete will be there. You see, table for delete for unmanaged contact, uh, for that particular entity, table for delete will be given, that will give us all the keys, and how those keys will be there. You see here, it will have a CID reference number, a PID, and a contact ID, the key fields, right? So remember this point properly. Okay. So now let us go and see how we should actually go and implement our delete functionality, guys. Again, same thing. We will be actually calling our auxiliary class to create our delete operation. So definitely that will be called from our uh, main contact, right? So delete operation we need. So let me go and actually create our delete operation. So we should go here in our delete. Now, before we call anything, same thing we will be actually calling auxiliary class a delete method, right? Like the update contact, we will have a delete contact as well. So let me go and create the delete contact method also in our auxiliary class. Now, how this is going to be different is what we will see. So let us go to our auxiliary class and go to the main global, or not BP, but we should go to our auxiliary class global, and here we should have a delete method. Okay. Now, how delete method will be different? We cannot use the entity types here, right? So what we need is we need to have a kind of keys that we need to actually go and create. So, and in our case for contact, we already have defined contact keys here, right? So I can go and actually create one more contact keys for myself, GTT contact, I will say keys type table of LTY contact key. Okay, type table of LTY contact key. What error is it giving? LTY contact, sorry, not LTY, but LS contact key. LS contact key. Okay. Now, this LS contact keys is already we have defined. Now, let us go and define our delete method. Similarly, let's come here and say methods. Here now delete contact. That will now take importing. Of course, exporting and everything should be same, I believe. Let's see. So importing now this time it will not take the uh, individual thing, individual entity instances. Rather, it will actually take the key values, guys. Okay. So I will say, okay, IT, it is a delete keys type GTT contact keys, right? That is what we have actually gone and defined. And it will not export anything. It will just delete and give me back the ET messages. Now let us go and implement this delete method just after the update. Okay, I'm saying method delete contact and method. Okay, now how this delete method will be called? This delete method, what it will do is definitely we will have to again go and call our uh, the buffer data like what we have done here. Same thing, but now this time we will have to just pass the contact key there. Okay, so let me just go and call this transactional buffer also here. What it will take is it will take the contact. Now for delete, we only need the contact ID, guys. Okay, we don't need the complete contact keys here. So corresponding is not needed for us here. We will take and we will say, okay, this should have contact ID is equal to uh, no, we will not be having. So okay, we should be passing a loop at IT delete contact here, right? We will be using that into data ls del keys. That del keys contact ID we should actually pass here. Okay, that is what we should pass here. Now, again, the second thing is our operation and everything, which is nothing but the same value. We can actually get here as well, right? Let me put a end loop first before I forget, so that things will be easier. Now this will have our operation. Now this contact ID will not be IS contact ID, but it will be LS del keys dash contact ID. And this operation now will be delete, guys. Okay, and with delete we don't need the control structure. Okay. Finally, what it will give me, this again we don't need. It will give me back my ET contact as LT contact. Okay, because delete I am not passing any ET contact back, right? We don't need, we just delete and then go on. And ET messages, surely we are actually getting it. We should pass it back, right? So this is what it will go and then delete. And again, the same thing here. If there is no error that is been returned, so not ET message, if ET messages, then we don't need this. Directly you say copy buffer to actual. Okay. This is what you should have in your loop. So exporting, importing this, and then if we have no errors, then definitely we will go and call the copy for, okay. So this should work fine for us. Okay. This is our local class, a global class. Now we should also have a local class that in our prepare transactional buffer, guys. So let's go to our transactional buffer, and in our transactional buffer, as you might have seen here, what we are doing, we are checking if it is delete, but we are not processing it. So like the update contact, we should also now have a delete contact for us. Okay. So this delete contact method, we will have to go and define again as our private method. So let me go to definition here, and here we will say, okay, let us go and define a delete contact method for ourselves. Delete contact, surely it will take our IT contact. There won't be anything. Numbering mode is always default. Even if you don't take also, that's fine with delete, because we don't need a numbering mode there. We are not doing any numbering during the delete operation, and then it will actually return me back my ET messages. Okay. Same uh, code. Now where we are going to go and implement this is after our update. Let us go and implement our delete method. Okay, delete contact method here. This delete contact method definitely will be called in our method here. Okay. Now this delete contact method, how we are going to call? We will say, okay, here call our delete contact method. It will pass my IT contact and it will give me back my ET messages. Now again, basically I should have, I can actually say IT, sorry, LT B4 U B4 D, right? That is what we need to take, and ET messages will be, again, I am getting it in LT messages. Okay. That LT messages, since we have already declared here, I am again filling it here. Okay. I can pass ET messages also here, guys, right? Because at one given point in time, only one process will occur. But yeah, let it be, no worries. There is no harm in actually having it this way also. Now, what will this delete message do? It is actually giving me what I am filling in my LT messages. Let me go back and see. In my, before I call it here, what I am doing, I am saying ls contact. Okay, I'm just passing the contact ID here, even though I'm using the same uh, structure there, it doesn't matter. But the only the key field is actually being passed. I could have actually used LTB for you as my, not GTT contact you, but maybe sorry, D should be actually DTT, maybe contact keys will actually help here. Okay. keys will also work. But yeah, nothing to worry. We can actually, we are just filling the ls contact id, which I'm just passing as contact id from my calling program. So this should also work. Now in my delete contact, okay, of course we will have to, what we'll have to do similar to what we are doing in our update. Similarly in our delete also, we should go and uh, basically uh, fill in our from the buffer table to our actual table, right? So same thing again here. Let me go and check these two first. Okay. If the data is been passed, okay, in this case, ET contact will not be there, only ET messages will be there, and check whether the IT contact is there, yes or no. And then this IT uh, contact, right, whether it is been edited or not, that is something that we should actually look into. And now, before we actually go and delete, right, uh, what we should do is we should check whether that particular data does exist in our uh, buffer, yes or no, right? If it is existing in the buffer, then we should actually uh, uh, move it to then we should delete it from our buffer, right? So the idea is that, let me just go and do that coding also quickly, guys, and show you, or let me write it down here itself. Okay. So what we have to do during our delete, right? It will be called from our contact. This method that will actually call our auxiliary class. This auxiliary class method is looping, and it is going and adding one after the other. How many records that is the user has selected, that many times it will go and fill in with the contact ID being passed to us. So what we have to do is here, whatever value we are getting one record at a time, right? We should go and use to fill it in our MTB4D, our buffer table for delete to that table. Okay. Or I can say a value, that is always better, base, whatever is there already, you keep that MTB4D contact, and on top of it add lines of our IT contact. Okay, that is what we can do. So what it will go and every time it will go and add that particular record here in our B4D, buffer for delete. Then it will come here. Every time it will go and do it 1 2 3 4 5 times, right? Finally, when there is no errors, right, in case of deletion, it should go and call our copy buffer to actual, means it will move from B to D to actual to delete, A to D. Okay, that will be actually done here as well in the delete contact. And finally, once this is done, then the delete operation will actually go back to our calling program from where this delete has to be called now. So let us understand how we are going to actually call that delete uh, method, and how we are going to pass back the deleted data, right? That is what we need to actually go and do it here. So first thing is, since this one is actually taking the keys, right? I will actually create a data LT contact keys type CMAKS contact. Let us create a GTT contact keys table. Okay, that is actually needed. Plus, of course, we need messages. Again, same class we have already created GTT messages. Table type, guys, there. a comma here, and GTT messages table type here. Okay. So once we have this, the idea is that we will have to first go and create our uh, key values, right? Whatever we are getting in our keys, that we have to actually go and fill in. Now that keys that we are defining, we will be defining using LT contact keys is equal to value hash. Now how we are going to do it is we already are getting the values in the keys that we are getting in, right? So, and that will have the contact ID there, right? And of course, I can loop in there and just contact ID is not initial is what I am also putting it here, so that uh, ideally this should not happen. But if there is a data which is having a blank contact ID, uh, some data issue, it's always better because we cannot go and just delete everything. Okay. So let me take only those value, and what we have there is we only have a contact ID, which is nothing but LWA keys dash contact ID. Okay, that we are passing, and we are filling our contact keys now. Now using this contact key, I have to go and call my auxiliary class to delete it. So my auxiliary class has got a get instance. Using that get instance, I should call my delete contact, which will take my delete keys, which is nothing but LT contact keys, and it will actually import ET messages in our LT messages. Okay. Now, again, the same thing. If there are no errors, then our result should be filled in, right? Uh, now here mapped is not there. Okay. Let me also show you that, guys, quickly. The press F2 on this delete, right? Now you see here it has got keys mapped, failed, and reported, right? So uh, we are actually just we will not be filling in the map. We will be filling in our report structure, guys. Okay. So how this is going to go and work for us is that, let me show you that as well. No, why should we put no? I think it will be the same. Okay. So if this one, again, we will have to actually go and get the LT messages. I don't think we are actually returning any LT messages there. Okay. But yeah, if this will always be blank in that case, if LT messages is initial, then definitely we will have to go and fill our same thing, guys, mapped. Okay. This also we need to go and fill in. Now, definitely we will not be having any LS entities with us, right? So, because this method will always give us the key values, right? So, what it will have, let me go and say for LWA keys in keys, okay? Uh, from everything in keys, we will have to send back percentage PKY is there. Okay. And where it will be coming from, it will be coming from our keys. We already have that PKY. Or you can actually put in transactional key also there, because the data is already with us. Okay, we are taking primary key because the data has been already created, so primary key does exist in the system. Okay, so once you fill in your map, then what happens is this will be actually uh, returned back to our calling program. Okay, so now let us see this. We have done this auxiliary class delete method. We have done this is calling the LCL buffer. The buffer, if it is not an error, then it will move it to actual. And then finally the delete will actually go, and in our save sequence, when the save is being called here, right, our save contact, when it will be called, it will actually go and delete if the M4D delete is there, right? So let us now go and check our application, guys. Okay, so let me go to my browser, and here, okay. So now let us go to our browser and see if we are able to delete, yes or no. Okay, so let me just press go here to get all the data. And now we will try to delete the last one, Raja Manjrekar, that we had created. Okay, and uh, as soon as I press this, this delete gets triggered. Okay, I can go inside. Okay, and here also the delete has been triggered. Okay, both ways you can do. Let me delete this from here. So if I say delete, it will ask for the confirmation. We say yes, delete, and you see that is been deleted now. There is no Raja here. If we go and find out Raja, we should not be able to find it out. Okay, so similarly, if you have a data here, okay, let me remove this, search everything and go down, and this lily I want to delete from here. It will ask, do you want to delete this lily object? I say yes, and that lily is also being deleted. Okay, so this is how, guys, the delete operation works. Okay, the major difference between our the major difference between our create, update, and delete operation is that delete will only work on the key values. So we are not passing the complete ls entities. That is the reason it will give us keys instead of ls entities there, right? So instead of entities, we are getting keys there. Using that key, we generate our key values as a key table, pass it on to our auxiliary class. That auxiliary class will then fill in the uh, uh, buffer for delete and actual for delete accordingly. And finally, during the save sequence, we are using our actual for delete to delete the data from our database. Okay, it is that simple, guys. Okay, hope you are able to understand the concept here of this auxiliary class. So we have now completed our create, update, and delete functionality, guys. Okay. Um so I would like to stop here, guys, requesting you to please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon, share it with others as well. With that, thank you and happy learning.